All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chakadash, giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth with 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, The Mark is the Micro C.H.I.P, nothing else, right? Because you got a lot of camps, a lot of guys from different camps, coming up with incorrect breakdowns for the MOTB, right? And the only camp which we knew was Sakari that taught the correct breakdown of the MOTB. Well, they're irrelevant now because of the situation with their leader. Genesis is coming up with all types of heresies, and they've just gone full reprobate and apostates. And so right now, really, the only camp that I know of and have heard teach the true breakdown of the MOTB is Great Millstone. And we're going to continue to bring out the correct breakdown of the MOTB until what? Until it happens, right? Because you got a lot of wicked Israelites out here, man, who think that it's okay to just shrug it off and say things like, "Oh, we don't need to know what the mark of the beast is. We don't need to know what the MOTB is. If your spirit is right, you ain't gonna take it no way." You know what I'm saying? And that's incorrect. You need to know what this prophecy is talking about. You need to know the exact date breakdown of the prophecy. Like, what major prophecy in the scriptures is there that you can just be like, "Oh, we don't need to know what that is," right? When the scriptures talk about Jacob's trouble, do you say that, "Oh, we don't need to know about what that is"? Well, probably some of you camps is probably going to start coming out and saying that, right? But the truth of the matter is you need to know what these prophecies are, especially prophecies like the MOTB. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to go into it, and I'm about to break Revelation 13, 16 through 18 down, and then, pull some precepts, Lord willing, this video lesson be edifying, right? So let's go ahead and start with Revelation 13 and 16. And it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads," right? That's who? Everybody, right? Everybody except for those who refuse to take it, right? Especially the elect of the nation of Israel, right? But this mark is going to be pushed on every single person on planet Earth. It says he calls it all, right? Because you had Captain Tazariak, who was talking about verse 17. It's talking about embargoes on nations, those who can buy and trade, and you know what I'm saying, those who have businesses and things like that. That's not what that's going into. It's going into everyday life, buying and selling of goods. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why it's going to everyday life, buying and selling of goods, because what verse 16 says. It says, "And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond," right? So if you in jail, you definitely gonna get it. If you out here in the world and you hungry and the MOTB is the only way you can eat and your spirit is weak, you gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? This ain't talking about nations and businesses, or people who have businesses, you know what I'm saying, or embargoes and nothing like that. That's not what it's talking about, right? Verse 17, and it says, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name," right? And when you take that mark, you take on the worship of the beast, his name, and his number, which is what? It says, and here is wisdom. Let him that understand that let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 right? And that's the number of this Edomite, right? This devil. You can see that in various different logos of major corporations that they have, right? Like um, what you call it, Google, right? Google has the 666 symbol in it, or their logo has the 666 symbol in it. Taco Bell, I believe, has it, right? The Department of Transportation, if you look at their logo, it's a 666 in it, right? A lot of these major entities that this devil owns, when you look at their logos, you can make out a 666 telling you what? Telling you who this man is, and telling you who the scriptures is talking about. As the scriptures say, the man of sin shall be revealed. Well, who was revealing the man of sin? The prophets. The prophets of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah going out there on the highways and byways, breaking down these scriptures, breaking down these prophecies, and letting you know what the real deal is. You know what I'm saying? So look again, let's go into this word mark. And this word here is charagma, right?
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Or charagma, right? A stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work, or idolatrous images, right? A mark branded upon horses, right? Or back in the ancient times, they would brand their cattle. They would take I forgot what it's called, but it's like a steaming, a hot metal rod, right, with like a mold for a mark on the end. They would heat it up, and then they would brand cows and cattle, horses, and everything, so that you know whose cattle or whose livestock this belongs to, right? And it's the same thing, except this mark is going to be a microchip. But it's the same concept. It's you fully pledging your allegiance to this devil, right? Because as somebody like Tazariak or somebody like, some of these Israelites in these other camps, they'll say, well, because they'll say something like sin is the mark, right? And they'll say, well, we already got the mark. Well, we all through then if we got the mark. Because what does it say in Revelation 14 and verse 9? We're going to read that in a second. But if we got the mark, then we all through. You know what I'm saying? So that makes no sense. The mark is something physical, right? And it's a micro, it's a micro electronical device that is going to be implanted into your body. And with that mark, you're going to completely and fully pledge allegiance to this devil. Because what? As what's that that sodomite elite Yuval Harari, he talks about monitoring under the skin. Monitoring under the skin, how you gonna do that? Putting the marker, putting the chip in you. What do these devils want to do? They want to be able to monitor your thoughts, your emotions. That's what this whole Palantir thing is about. They want to be able to predict and tell based on your thoughts and your emotions if you're gonna if you have the capability of going against the system, right? That's what these things are talking about, and none of these camps go into things like that. Only Great Millstone goes into particular things of that nature. None of these camps go into these things, right? These camps ain't going into all these other Israelite camps. Don't go into Palantir. They don't go into monitoring under the skin. They don't go into the things that this devil is out here doing right now. that is lining up with this prophecy and the breakdown that we have at Great Millstone for Revelation 13 and 16. Right? None of these camps go into these things because they'll be talking about some, well, y'all paying so much attention to what Esau's doing, y'all need to pay attention to what the Lord is doing, right? Well, who's the Lord doing it through? The Lord is playing out his agenda through who? Through this devil. So we're supposed to be paying attention to what this devil is doing. You're not supposed to be turning a blind eye to that, right? But that's why great millstone is the true watchman. We're the true watchmen of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't bringing out all that this devil is doing, if you ain't going into, the technology that he's trying to create and how he's going to use it for, complete control, over the people, then you're not really watching. You're not really, you're not really watching what's going on, right? So a thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, right? Let's go into this, the root word, which is karax, right? A pale or stake, a palisade, a rampart, pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together, right? A pale or a stake is a physical thing, right? That's the root word. And when we go into this word character, and you go down here, the root word for character is what? Karax. That same Greek word, karax. But what does character mean? It says symbol marked or branded on the body. Symbol or drawing, Salakia, symbol or drawing used in sorcery. And what is this devil going to use? He's going to use his sorcery to push his agenda, right? Alphabetic letter, graphic symbol standing for a sound or syllable, right? As talking about letters and all that. But it says from Latin character, from Greek character, engraved mark, also symbol or imprint on the soul, properly instrument of marking, right? And what we see the root word here is karax, same as charagma. You know what I'm saying? And even with this Greek definition, I just did this on accident, but look, same thing, character, an instrument used for engraving or carving. The mark stamped upon the instrument or wrought out on it, a mark or figure burned in or stamped on an impression. It says Leviticus 13 and 28. Let's go here and read this. Let's see. Okay, it ain't going directly to it. Let's go do it like this. Leviticus 13:28. Okay, so that's talking about something else. Okay. But as we can see, karax, which is the root word for character, as well as charagma, they all basically are saying the same thing, right? To engrave, to mark, to stamp, to put a symbol on, to carve. You know what I'm saying? And this is what John the Revelator saw. This is how John the Revelator described it, right? So if he described it like this, as something physical, then what must it be? It must be something physical. Let's go here to Revelation Revelation 16 and verse 2, and it says, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image," right? So it says there's a noisome, grievous sore that's going to fall upon those who have the mark of the beast, right? Is this sore spiritual? I want to know what they break down for this is. Is this sore going to be spiritual? Right? Because this is a precept. Because they like also when it comes to precepts, man, Isaiah 28 and verse 10, again, it teaches us how to decipher when it comes to precepts. It says line upon line, Salakia, it says precept upon precept, line upon line, meaning context, right? The precept upon precept, right? The words match, right? But what's the context? If the context doesn't match up, but it has the same words in it, well, can you really use that as a precept, really, to break that down? Now, you can use different scriptures to make particular points. You know what I'm saying? But like, for example, they went to Sirach chapter, I want to say 37, where it says, "He that buyeth and selleth is in sin," or something, roughly paraphrasing, right? And they said that that's a precept of Revelation 13 and 16. That's not a precept of Revelation 13 and 16 because the context is not the same. That's not talking about the MOTB. It's not the same, it's not the same context. Context matters. That's why in Isaiah 28 in verse 10 on down, it says line upon line. Here a little and there a little. Right? But let's go into this word. Let's go into this word sore, which is helkos. It says a wound, especially a wound producing a discharge, plus a sore, an ulcer. Right? And let's look at Revelation 16 and verse 21. And it says, and it's talking about Lazarus. Right? And Lazarus was a Salakia. This is it's talking about Lazarus, Salakia. It says, in desiring, this is Luke 16 and verse 21, it says, in desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, right? And this particular thing talking about Lazarus is a parable, right? The rich man and the poor man. But when you look at the word sores, because look, it says, when you start at verse 19, it says, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. Right? And then the word for sores in verse 21 is the same word, helkos. It's talking about wounds. Right? Physical wounds. So if you're going to receive a physical wound from having this mark, then how is this mark not physical? All right, let's go here to Isaiah 31 and verse 3. And it reads, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not Yahweh, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together, right? Because you're talking about this mark is spiritual. Well, Esau doesn't deal in the spirit. Esau deals in carnality. Esau deals in being carnal. Carnal meaning the physical. So what is he going to do? He's going to bring forth a physical mark, right? Now, yes, he does witchcraft, he does sorceries on the left hand side and everything like that, but his implementations are physical implementations in this world. When it came to that, Salakia, when it came to that VAX a couple of years ago, that was a physical thing. Esau wasn't talking about pray to the Lord that we get through this. Esau was talking about go get that vax. Please sign in to your vehicle. He was talking about go get that Vaximilion and put that in your body. In which that's something that camps like ISUPK and IUIC, two of the 501c3 camps, by the way, that y'all push. You know what I'm saying? That's something that y'all push. And I believe it's going to be the same when this micro C.H.I.P comes out. Various camps like IUIC, ISUPK, they're going to be pushing the mark. Well, hey, General Yohana, we know what he said. You going to eat, you going to want to eat, and I'm going to want to eat. So we going to take that mark. If it's a chip, we going to take it. That's what he said. So you know what I'm saying? So this has to be brought out, man. It has to be brought out what this prophecy is dealing with, because this is a major prophecy that's going to happen. And it's something that we need to know, what it is and how not to deal with it, or how to deal with it. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 9. And it reads, it says, Salakia, Revelation 14 and verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. It's like in fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Holy Lamb, right? So there's a strong, specific judgment for those who choose to take the mark, for those who choose to take that MOTB. There's a strong judgment for that, and a warning against why you shouldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? A warning against, the Lord is warning you not to take it. So if the Lord is warning you not to take it, then wouldn't it behoove you to know what it is and to have this breakdown 100% correct? But a lot of you camps say, I don't care about correct doctrine. You just care about, you know what I'm saying, being buddy-buddy with everybody, being cool with everybody. That's all a lot of you camps really care about, just being cool, buddy-buddy, you know what I'm saying, likable Israelites. That's all y'all really care about. Y'all ain't really standing 10 toes down and standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because if you want to be buddy-buddy with everybody, you can't stand stiffly for the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because when somebody goes off and you refuse to rebuke and you refuse to bring out the proper breakdown and doctrine, well, now there's an issue with that, right? So, Lord willing, man, this video lesson was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachak Barash. Until next time, Shalom.